How we doing, everyone? Sam here, live United People's TV. Let me make sure my mic is working properly. I think it is. Yes, it is. Good morning. We're here to talk this morning about Jadon Sancho. Yesterday was a real focus that we had for about a good half an hour, 40 minutes debate and chat in the community about Harry Maguire, following comments from Erik Ten Hag, effectively challenging Harry Maguire to improve, to get back to his best, to show the sort of form for Manchester United that he shows for England. And today we switch our focus to Jadon Sancho, and we have a bit of a different conversation because it's not about what Jadon Sancho's doing for England, because he's not been at the World Cup. He's not been in the England team. He's not really played for Manchester United. Has he played for Man United? I think it was the 22nd of October, something like that. It's been a long time since he's really sort of been the Sancho that we know is there. And I want to speak about it this morning because Ten Hag has gone in depth and said, look, he's right now not ready physically or mentally to be playing for Manchester United. So it's really important that we have a conversation about a player that, you know, when we spent 2 years trying to sign him. What's going on with Jadon Sancho? We'll talk about that this morning. We'll talk about Lisandro Martinez being in the World Cup final, baby. Oh, yeah. The man crush is going to go up to like level 20. Is that even a thing? I don't know. It probably will be. We're going to speak about Cody Gakpo after comments from PSV's director, Marcel Brands. We'll speak about Van Persie being back at Carrington. There's loads of good stuff here to talk about this morning. And a more serious conversation around Jadon Sancho. And I don't want to call it the darker side of football I don't know. It feels like in the modern era, I suppose it's because we're getting more exposure to it. Maybe exposure is the wrong word as well. But we seem to be talking about mental health issues far more. And I think that's an important thing. And I want to speak about that in the comments too. Who's down here in the comments? Right, let's have a look. Charlie Hughes, good morning to you. Stone420. Eagle Passans, Anthony, Kieran Trainer on Facebook, and Andy Ashton. Good morning to you two guys. You've got Giannos Petro. We've got Carl watching from New Zealand. Good morning to you. Jonathan, as always. We've got Lev Rymek. We've got Charlie Hughes, Daisy. We've got Tutti. We've got Michael, Freddie. And I'm sure we've got all the regulars down there. Ian and Josh, Paula. Here he is, as always. Good morning to all of you. Now, as you know full well, hit that like button. Let's get to 500 as quick. Let's see if we can get there for half an hour today. Let's open the Cantonar box. Another good giveaway today. We're cranking up, man. We've got 11 days till Christmas. My word, didn't know that. Well, I would have known that if I looked at the calendar. But let's talk about it, right? Let's have a sort of an open and an honest conversation that I think that we need to have around Jadon Sancho this morning. But before we do, 1 second there, let me make sure, because I think I've seen, yeah, of course, there he is, man. There's Godfather Gungshi coming in here and spreading some Christmas cheer for the community, bringing 10 more people into the community. Honestly, we must be setting some sort of record with members on this community. It's such a generous. I can't wait to do the Christmas call-in on the 21st, I think it is. Definitely going to try and get Gungshi. Going to try and get everyone who's donated, bring you on, have a little chat, have a little drink. I think it'll be a nice little video to do. Who are the lucky 10? Stinky Chops, very nice name. Florence, Adeg Bamini. I'm going to call you a Beeb because it's second name. Vlada, Eagle. No, not Eagle, sorry. Philip, Kid, Chadwick, Ejo, I Want Goals, and Bert. You are the lucky 10. And Dominic, man, you've come in strong. You're the Dominic Toretto of United People's TV. Just there. Anybody who knows who Dominic Toretto is, yeah, he's a Don. Big up Vin Diesel. Lewis Green, Marshman, Adeo, Darren Jones, and V33. You are the lucky 5 there, man. This channel is growing. It really is. It's the community is growing more than anything. And I want to, in the new year, I'm always open to new ideas. I've always promised to be doing more members-only exclusive content. I've not followed through on that, and I want to follow through on that in the new year. Maybe we can start doing some pre-match stuff, some more informal conversations, just, you know, me and you and the community. So if there are any members who have any ideas, hit me up in the members-only chat on Telegram with any ideas, and we can speak about it all together. But let's talk here about Jadon Sancho. following this it wasn't really, is it an interview? I believe this is part of the conversation that happened between Erik Ten Hag and the journalists out in Seville before the Real Betis game, that 1 hour sit down. I'm guessing this is where this sort of conversation comes from, because it's such an open and honest chat. It's really quite frank. Anybody who's Dutch in the comments, you can let me know. It's as far as I know about the culture in Holland, is that's why a lot of people consider Dutch people quite rude, because they are straight to the point. They're quite blunt, and I like that because that's kind of who I am. But Ten Hag, you know, is not really beating around the bush here with Sancho. Is quite an honest and open conversation. So I think we need to be having it in the comments here. Lewis saying thank you very much to the membership. Asan, maybe we'll bring back the arms for the Christmas drinks. I thought about that this morning, actually, trying to bring back the arms. Fan idea box here. I need to do something. But let me run through these comments here from Ten Hag on Jadon Sancho, and let's have a chat about it, because I think it's always been a question mark, isn't it, for a lot of us? It's like, what's going on with Jadon Sancho? And nobody's really been able to explain it. And that's, I suppose, what this conversation with Ten Hag gives us a little bit of insight into what's been going on behind the scenes with Jadon Sancho and between Sancho and Ten Hag. Jadon Sancho has been given an extended break from Manchester United to work out why physically and mentally he has dropped off this season. And this is what Ten Hag said when he was speaking about him. We didn't see him in the last few games for Manchester United. He wasn't in the right status, wasn't in the right frame of mind. Now he's on an individual program, and we want him to finish that program, and hopefully we'll see him back soon. He's not fit enough to be here. So yeah, there you go. To be here. This would have been a conversation that Ten Hag was having with the journalists a few days ago. He's not fit enough to be here. Sometimes there are circumstances with fitness and mood. Now he's on a physical program, and our aim is to get him back as quickly as possible. He was good on tour, but also when the league started, he played some good games, Liverpool, Leicester, Arsenal, and after we got a drop in level. What happens sometimes is you don't know why or what is causing it. That is what we're doing now, trying to research and try to get him back. It's a combination of physical issues, but also mentally. And I think that's an important part of what he says there. I'm going to highlight that one. Sometimes it's quite obvious as to what's gone on. Sometimes you can look at an issue and a problem and go, you know what? I know exactly what's caused that. Here's my solution. Bob's your uncle. This one here is not the easiest. Now, I've seen this. There's quite a few people, and you've mentioned this quite a few times. I haven't seen that anywhere. I don't know whether it's just the sort of stuff you see in the back of the Sun or the Daily Star, but I'm not here to point fingers at Sancho. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, and anybody in the comments who you can make these sorts of assumptions if you want to. I don't like assumptions, but I like the fact that Erik Ten Hag is effectively taking Jadon Sancho under his wing, right? And I was going to mention it a little bit later on, but I suppose it's kind of part of the conversation now. Because what we're seeing with Jadon Sancho, if we're looking at Jadon right now, we're probably looking and seeing quite a lot of similarities to a certain Marcus Rashford who, what was it? I mean, not even 12 months ago. Not even 12 months ago, we were looking at Marcus Rashford and going, what's wrong? Where are you? What is wrong with him? I'll probably say about, what is it now? December. 12 months is probably about right. Marcus Rashford was an absolute shadow of himself. And we all made our own sort of assumptions as to what was going on with Marcus Rashford. Oh, he's taken on too much responsibility. He's focusing on stuff off the pitch. He's not focusing on his football on the pitch. And none of us really knew how much damage missing that penalty for England at Euro 2020 caused on him. By the way, Jadon Sancho also missed one. And I've maintained that since day one, that it's just kind of brushed under the carpet. Sancho, Rashford and Saka were all racially abused after missing those penalties in the final. And we just expect them to just shrug it off. Go on in. It's just it's part of the working life. It's not part of the working life. It shouldn't be part of the working life. And I've always maintained that that must have had more of an impact on Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Bukayo Saka than any of us can sort of truly understand. But with Rashford, if you look at where he was to where he is now, you're looking at a player who's just it almost feels like the way he's playing, right? He's just playing like he's quite literally had like a weight lifted off his shoulders. Maybe it is his physical shoulder. Remember that surgery he had as well. And there's comments like this which I see quite a lot. I see it more in the Daily Mail comment section. I do hear on United People's TV comments, but I'm going to put it one up. Sorry, Mark. For the average person, it must be difficult. So your direct association there is money equals happiness and wealth. How can you possibly have any sort of human emotion if you're on 100 grand a week? How is that possible? I'll be honest, Mark, it's such an ignorant thing to say. A ridiculously ignorant thing to say. Because humans are humans. It doesn't matter what human, it doesn't matter what the context of that is. To try and just dismiss the idea that any person in this world can have any sort of physical and mental issues if they've got money. I mean, come the fuck on. You're better than that. Seriously. Dave, if there's anyone that can get Sancho back to its best, it's Ten Hag. He's done it with Rashford, Delos, Shaw, and many others. And of course, something that was labelled towards Ten Hag by Cristiano Ronaldo was his lack of empathy. Was the club's lack? I don't know whether it was the club's lack. I don't know whether it was Ronaldo specifically accusing Ten Hag of a lack of empathy, or whether it was Manchester United, or whether he was accusing Manchester United of a lack of empathy with what was going on with his daughter and being in hospital. I'll be honest, I can't really particularly remember off the top of my head. But what Ten Hag is showing here, and this, I'm not sure whether this is unprecedented, but it feels like the words that are written in this is a holistic approach. The way that Ten Hag is dealing with Sancho, because let's compare it, for example, maybe it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges, so it's a little bit unfair, but the Harry Maguire situation when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer decided that the only way for him to get over his troubles was to stay in the spotlight, was to play every game. That's how you get over it. And that does work for some people. That absolutely does work for some people. But it doesn't work for everybody. And the fact that effectively what's been done here is Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag, despite the fact that Jadon Sancho cost the club, £73 million, despite the fact that he's on, I'm going to presume, in excess of £200,000 a week, they're just letting him just kind of disappear out of the spotlight and say, look, you know what? You take the time you need and come back. And when you come back, you'll be in a much better place. And as I said, that the example here of Rashford and where he was to where he is the perfect example for Jadon Sancho. And remember what Jadon Sancho did. What was it? A couple of months ago? I don't even think it was a couple of months ago actually. But Jadon Sancho went on a blackout on social media. And again, if you're looking at things that modern footballers have to deal with, that it's just part of the culture of football now compared to what it was before. The ability to get close to the fire of fans is so much more existent in the modern world because of social media. Any twat can go on social media and just racially abuse a player after something happens in a game just because they feel like it. Just slide into their DMs. We've seen so many examples of it. Ivan Toney called someone out quite recently. It happens to it's happened a lot. Jadon Sancho's decided, and I think that's quite that there is indicative of this situation, right? Jadon Sancho's just gone on a social media blackout. Because players must find it difficult, I suppose, to sort of ignore it all. I'll be honest, like on a micro scale, I've had to deal with plenty of it. I haven't had to deal with any sort of racial abuse. That's not what I'm talking about. But abuse online, it's constant. It's constant. I've got thick skin, so I can get past it. But it's not. I'm not in the spot. Trust me, I'm not trying to compare any sort of abuse I've had with Jadon Sancho and what's happened there. It's just I'm trying to say that I've got some sort of empathy in the situation. I'm going to go down there and read a few of your comments out down here. See what you're saying. I seem to remember Rashford took over trip overseas and became, but I can't remember that one there, if I'm being honest. FPL, you're saying that social media has become more and more toxic. Football Twitter is a perfect example. Children's time on social media. Oh, man. Social media can be brilliant. It can be absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, it can be a pit. It can be an absolute pit. Stephen, I know personally that life pressures can cause anxiety and depression. It's a hard road back to some sort of normality. Game, you're saying the blackout was just before he left for the Netherlands. And of course, if you're looking at right now with this blackout, right now with this conversation about Jadon Sancho not being ready physically and mentally, it's, well, right, he's just had to sit there and watch the World Cup. He's had to sit there and watch England go to the World Cup, and something that he wanted to be part of. And something if you're looking at Jadon Sancho's form in the pre-season tour, he was one of the best players, right? So we're not talking about the fact that Jadon Sancho, he's been absolutely shit all season. He's not been there at all. He was really impressive during the pre-season. Scored that super goal against Liverpool. Scored against Leicester as well, if I can remember correctly. Decent enough performance against Arsenal too. Sorry. I think this cold is getting to me. Finally. It's been freezing in here. I'm wearing 4 layers here, ladies and gents. I imagine it's part of that. But this is I suppose the onion that needs to be peeled back. Daisy, you're talking about asking whether or not he's had family issues. If I remember correctly, I think Jadon Sancho was given time off. I believe, I don't know whether it was a bereavement or not, around the Brentford game. Let me try and Google that. I think it was around that then. I don't know whether I remember of something of those sorts around about that, but again, we don't know the ins and outs of it. And there's a good comment from you there talking about how the clubs having in-house support networks, and it seems more prevalent in modern football, but I imagine the abuse is 10 times worse in modern football because of the exposure of it. The abuse was probably always there back in the day. But the only way you ever got that abuse as a player was when somebody was shouting at you from the sidelines. Or somebody was passing you on the bus home. Back in the day when players used to get buses. Now, abuse can be constant and anywhere. In every fiber of your private life. Someone just dropping into your Instagram DMs. Someone just dropping into your Twitter. Someone just replying to you. Anybody can attack you from any part of the world at any moment in time. And it must be tough. Of course, yeah. Of course, I've got sympathy here. I've got empathy here, and I'm not surprised by Ten Hag's approach, but it's just that it's just indicative of the way that I suppose things have gone in the modern game these days. It's quite sad, really. It's fucking sad. I'm going to read through more of what Ten Hag had to say on Sancho here, by the way, because there's more down here. Didn't just finish here. Right, let's go down. That's the word there that I use. Holistic approach. With Ten Hag in charge, they appear to be taking a holistic approach, giving them the time and space to reflect on where things have gone wrong and what he needs to improve to become the player they thought they were signing. The key thing is he will not be put under pressure to rush anything and will be allowed to work on his own until he feels ready to compete for his place again. I think there's huge competition in England Ten Hag said, when I see the front line, the manager really has choices there, even at the World Cup. For him, every game was difficult with who to start because there is so much talent. When you don't show it week in, week out, you can fall out of the squad, and that's what happened to Sancho. The fact that I don't know whether Erik Ten Hag was questioned about that directly, and this is simply his response to it, or whether Erik Ten Hag was sort of leading with that conversation because England were in the World Cup. I imagine the England dropping out that England squad probably really hurt him. Again, this is I'm assuming here, and again, I would say that we shouldn't really make assumptions. So I won't go too in depth in that. But in the same way that I feel missing that penalty must have had an impact on him, I imagine dropping out that England squad must have had some sort of impact on him. Let's go down here, and there's still more. Most of the time, the drop off comes slowly. He started the season really well, but after the international break in October, his performance was lower. And remember what happened in that international break in October? Jadon Sancho sat at home because he was dropped out of the squad and he never made it back in. First, you observe it with your eyes, but also then the stats back it up. In the start of the season, he had goals and assists in his key moments and key actions, but it became less and less. We want to bring him back as quickly as possible, but I can't give a prognosis of when that will be. I've had several talks with Jadon, but I don't think he will be back next week. So right now, Manchester United have given Jadon Sancho full and complete support. He was left out of the squad for the World Cup. He was left out of the 2 call-ups in internationals in October, and there was one in November. Was it one in November? I don't know. No, actually, the World Cup started in November. But Jadon Sancho won't be playing for United against Burnley. I'll be surprised if Jadon Sancho's involved in Manchester United football before 2023. So I don't think we'll see him against Nottingham Forest. And it's a really tough situation here. And you're looking at the delicacies of management, I suppose. After the Cristiano Ronaldo situation was dealt with, and that was a ridiculous thing for Ten Hag to deal with, he dealt with it. And then I said yesterday, the most important, the biggest question that Ten Hag has now as a manager is Harry Maguire, his captain. The problems of him playing in Manchester United, how good he is away from Manchester United. And now we've got here Jadon Sancho. And Jadon Sancho is a huge question again for Erik Ten Hag. And there's been real successes, right, for Ten Hag as a manager. And we're probably going to be looking at, I would say, it's either Marcus Rashford or Diogo Dalot, right? They're the 2 biggest success stories of players that last year, I mean, they looked okay, but not particularly, to where they are now. Wow. The improvement has been significant. And it gives me the sort of confidence to think, you know what? I reckon Ten Hag can get Jadon Sancho back to this stage. And I suppose effectively this now means that we've got between December and May, 5 months. I'm not saying that Jadon Sancho is going to be on the sell list in the summer. That's not what I'm insinuating. What I am insinuating is that Jadon Sancho has got 5 months, because as much as Manchester United, and I think it's an admirable thing to do. I think the fact that Erik Ten Hag is taking a different approach to how he's dealing with this situation is indicative of the approaches that Man United took before. They didn't fucking work, right? Keeping Harry Maguire in the spotlight did not help him. Taking him out of the spotlight may have had a different impact. Jadon Sancho's had his time, stood in the spotlight, and the performances just haven't been there. But instead of stubbornly sticking to one method, Man United and Erik Ten Hag have decided to take a different approach with Jadon Sancho. And I hope it ends with him smiling, fist pumping, and Jadon Sancho getting back to that player who, well, that goal he scored against Liverpool, man, was different gravy. Different gravy altogether. And I think the fact that he's taken that social media blackout, he's left Instagram, I think is really indicative of how big the issues are, and also the fact that he really wants to focus on what's important. And for him, getting back to his best getting back to smiling and enjoying football again in the same way that Marcus Rashford got back to smiling and enjoying football again. That's what's more important to Jadon Sancho than Instagram right now. And John, I would completely agree with this. I would completely agree with this. It's what worked previously will not work with this generation. Because the problems of this generation are going to be different to the problems of the previous generation. And that's what I mean. People can come in with this old school, right there. Asan, you're saying it there. One size doesn't fit all. And it does not fit all. But I think the fact that I'm looking at Rashford and looking at how much he's improved and how much Erik Ten Hag must have helped him along that path. I look at Jadon Sancho and hope that we can have a similar sort of response from him. And I think Jadon Sancho, the fact that Ten Hag has allowed him to stay out the spotlight, allowed him not to go to Spain, and has been in deep in conversation with him, I imagine that's building a level of trust between manager and player that hopefully will end with Jadon Sancho come. Because imagine Jadon Sancho comes back, I don't know, halfway through January. He's disappeared for what, 4, 5, 6 weeks, comes back and he's a man reborn. It'd be brilliant for Manchester United. It really is. But this is a really important conversation. There's how many likes are we on now? We're on 269. Let's get to 500 so we can open that. And because I want to tell you the entry method for the giveaway today, because it's tied into this Jadon Sancho situation. And let me go down here, read a few of your comments down there. Are football players being pressured by marketing companies to be on social media? I don't think they're being pressured, but I think any aware footballer knows that their ability to earn money doesn't rely on social media. But look, you can look at what Cristiano Ronaldo has done and the brand that he's built himself into. I think he's the most followed person on the. Oh, geez, you go and ask Piers Morgan. They were sucking each other off over the Instagram numbers. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're pressured into it, but they understand that that's what the market is now. So if you're not on social media, you're allowing other people to get a leg up on you, if you know what I mean. What else are you saying down here? Aruba, you're saying Sancho's focusing on improvement. That's better than most of his generation who like gaslighting. Oh, good old gaslighting. Andrea saying it's just a toxic lifestyle now. There are still people, but sometimes people forget that. I respect Jadon, but also for Ten Hag giving his time. Let's find out, man. Let's find out what comes next. And man, I just want Jadon Sancho to be that Dortmund Sancho. I really, really do. I really, really do. Linton here with a strange one. I don't think Sancho is a great professional at times because he always seems a bit overweight, which is... Has anybody ever looked at Jadon Sancho and gone, oh, he's overweight? I swear on my life, that I've never thought that once. And again, that's something that is shouted at Luke Shaw quite a lot. Luke Shaw, I think, has got a similar sort of physique to Wayne Rooney. Anytime that Wayne Rooney missed preseason or just had an injury, be like, Christ, he's put in the trunk. And then he slimmed down, but I don't know. It's I've never in my life have I had that conversation around Jadon Sancho. Matthew, you're saying Sancho's head dropped when he realized it wasn't quick enough in the new system. Speed is a staple of his game, but he's found himself not ready. And unfortunately for Sancho, we've got back up in the... Hey, look, Sancho looked good in preseason. This is what I'm saying. Sancho looked good against Liverpool, good against Leicester. This season, he has looked good inside this system, and he is a system player. That's how he thrived at Dortmund. He knew exactly what he was doing. But honestly, man, if Sancho's overweight, then I am a fat bastard. That's such a weird comment, man. Oh my God. It's just online, isn't it? Everyone's allowed to, I suppose, comment on whoever they want to comment on. Any part of their life, physique, or anything they do. Look, I think that the most important takeaway from all of this, we can debate about individuals. We can debate about whether they're mentally right or whether they're mentally wrong. We just have to be happy here that we've got a manager in Erik Ten Hag who's tried it, who's realized it's not working, and it's gone, right, we need something else. Let's go somewhere else. And Erik Ten Hag, more than most, will know how to work with these younger players. It was someone there, I think it was John earlier, saying that we need to treat these younger players differently. Erik Ten Hag has spent his whole career on helping youngsters come from the academy to first team football and understanding and coping with the differences between that and being in the spotlight all of a sudden and the pressures that brings. Ten Hag's got a lot of experience as a manager in doing that with Frankie de Jong, with Donny van der Beek, with Matthijs de Ligt, with Mazraoui, with Jurriën Timber. So many different players you can throw into that as well. Ten Hag has real experience in dealing with that. And that should, again, in the same way that I'm looking at this Marcus Rashford situation and how that has helped and improved and developed under Ten Hag, I'm looking at how Ten Hag has managed youngsters throughout his career and how I think that should give Jadon Sancho some real hope. He goes, you know what? Yeah, I should trust Erik Ten Hag. Let's find out what happens next. But at this moment in time, Jadon Sancho, just like he's got a bit of a blackout on social media, we won't be hearing or seeing much of him. Maybe that will be until the new year. Who knows, right? But let's find out how this develops over time. But I suppose it's good to get a little bit of clarity as fans as to what's going on with Jadon Sancho, because we've all fairly assumed this, right? That something's going on behind the scenes. But it's good to hear the manager speaking about it publicly and not from a critical perspective. It's just like, right, man, we'll give him time. He'll come back, which is not something I think every club in the world would afford, given that the fact that we have paid X amount for Sancho and we've given him X amount per week. It's tough, man. It's tough. But this is all part of this new, I suppose, culture at United. Because previously, as I said, I compare that, and I'll say it one more time, I compare it to the Maguire situation where it was so obvious that Maguire needed to step out the spotlight after getting arrested out in Greece, to being totally backed by his manager, to coming back and just, whoa, what's going on here with Harry Maguire? And then week in, week out, getting played and played and played and watching Maguire sink further and further and further. And it created a massive... I despised watching him play at that point. Whereas in reality, if he was managed correctly, he would have been taken away from that spotlight. And he would have been given time, like Jadon Sancho has been given time to sort of reassess himself without having to deal with anything on social media, without having to deal with anything from the press. It's a tough talking point, a tough situation, but I'm really happy that Erik Ten Hag has decided to take that approach, because something had to change. And we can just all hope that Jadon Sancho comes back stronger and better, stronger physically, stronger mentally, and that we can find and see that Dortmund version of Sancho in a Manchester United shirt. Let's have a look here. Sigmund, how you doing there, buddy? What's your comment? I think people quickly forget about the pandemic, readjusting from life in Germany, harsh European final exit, abuse, Ten Hag and his team. I imagine there's Sigmund, what it strikes me as with Sancho is I don't particularly feel that we can point to one specific event or one specific moment and say, there you go, that's the root cause. I imagine it's a culmination of things, like you're saying there, that hasn't really been addressed, and they've sort of all piled up on top of each other. That's what I mean. You've got to peel the onion back. You've got to speak about it. You've got to talk it through. You've got to then be able to focus on your fitness. So maybe he's just been distracted. Again, we can just assume. But I would back Ten Hag to help him. I really, really would. Ben, what you're saying? I was so excited with Sancho and Dortmund. Let's give him time to recover. No doubt he's got talent. Of course he does. He's a hell of a talent, man. Hell of a talent. But look, let's move on here. As I said, as soon as we hit 500 likes, as always, every single day, I'm doing a giveaway. Let's announce the two winners from the last two videos, actually. This one was from Monday, and this was for the retro shirt. Drum roll, please. And the winner was Adam Cox. Big up to you, Adam. As I said, I just literally scroll up and down the comment section with my eyes closed, and then I choose one. And Adam, you were the lucky one today. Apologies to Daniel and apologies to Danny because you were one away there. But you've won the retro shirt. So make sure you slide it. You need to slide into my my DMs on Twitter or Instagram with your address. It's the only way that I'll be able to get it from you. So congratulations to you. And the winner from yesterday with a comment on the Amazon video. I've seen your name in the comments here this morning, by the way. Congratulations there to Levrai Mek. You've won the Three Little Birds t-shirt. Congratulations to you, my friend. All you've got to do, again, you've got to slide into my DMs on Twitter or Instagram with your address, because otherwise I can't give you the shirt. Simple as that. And anybody who doesn't claim their prizes, I've told you this before, I'm going to be doing a bumper giveaway just before Christmas with all of these prizes in one. So yeah, you've got to claim it. You have to claim it. So as soon as we hit 500 today, then I'll announce the giveaway, what it is, and the entry method for today's one. But let's move on to talking about a well, I think this is it's a pretty damn interesting talking point. There's a lot of orange going on here. We've got the orange Messiah up there. I've got my Three Little Birds hoodie on, and then we've got Cody Gakpo over here. Oh yeah, Thomas, I forgot about that. Thank you very much. I've got the names written down. I think I need to pull. How do I pull them up? Right. I'll do that tomorrow. I've got the names down for the 3 winners for the Ronaldo shirts, but I'll try and pull your usernames up at the same time. Right. So that's 3 Ronaldo shirts, a United Retro shirt, a Three Little Birds t-shirt that we're announcing today. And there's going to be more. Hey, there he is. Can't believe I've actually won something, but I'm not. Oh, you can't claim it. Well, Adam, my email is info@thepeoplesperson.com. Email me your address there. You should be able to get that one. info@thepeoplesperson.com. Make sure you put your name in the subject, and I'll know it's you. Whew, it's quite hard to manage all this. There's so many giveaways I'm doing. I don't know how many things I've given away. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've done 11 giveaways so far, and we've still got. There are a ton more giveaways coming. Telegram, of course. Yep, go on Telegram if you want to slide into my DMs on there. There's plenty of ways to get in contact with me. Somebody can figure it out, and someone help Adam, please. Let's talk about Cody Gakpo, right? One of the players at the world, one of the breakthrough players, certainly, but I would probably say the breakthrough. It's either him or Gonzalo Ramos, really, in terms of the breakthrough players at the World Cup. And this is what PSV's director of football has said about his future in January. You have to be realistic. If you talk about Cody Gakpo and the price tag attached to him, there may be 10 to 12 clubs in Europe that can afford him. Amounts have not been discussed, but if the right club comes in that Cody would like to go to, I don't even know if is that a mistranslation. Amounts have not been discussed, but if the right club comes that Cody would like to go to, full stop. Those agreements were already made before I came. So basically they're saying, look, there's a price on Cody Gakpo that's been agreed between PSV and Cody Gakpo. If that price is reached, he can leave. And it says here, it must be a record transfer for PSV anyway. Then you know in which direction it should go. In the media, it seems like all the clubs are lining up, but the reality is we don't know anything about any interest or anything yet. It's quiet. I've spoken to Cody. He's going on vacation for 10 days. If something is at play, it is perhaps known to Cody or his management, but not to us yet. And I think and I swear to God, this is your default position on pretty much 94% of things in life. With Cody Gakpo, if you're looking at a record transfer fee for PSV, I believe their record one is 45 million to, that was Herving Lozano, I believe it was. Let me pull it up, actually. PSV transfer, record transfer. So, most expensive departures. Pull this one up because, quote unquote, they're using what Marcel Brands has said there, that they want that to be a record transfer. These are the record transfers for PSV. There you go. Herving Lozano going to Napoli for 45 million euros. So if it's going to be a record transfer fee, it has to be in excess of that. And we know it's going to be in excess of that because, of course, they turned down 43 million euros for Cody Gakpo from Leeds in the summer. They wanted 50. I imagine they now want somewhere between 60 and 70 million. That's what I'm imagining. And look at this, by the way. Man United absolutely stinking out PSV's top 10. We've got Memphis Depay, their second most expensive departure. Ruvan Nistelrooy, their fifth most expensive departure. And let's go to number 10. That man himself, Jaap Stam. So 3 out of PSV's top 10 most expensive ever sales have been Manchester United. And if Cody Gakpo comes in at number 1, that'll actually knock Jaap Stam out of the top 10. I can't knock Jaap Stam out of the top 10. But yeah, Ruvan Nistelrooy. Oh, man. Ruvan Nistelrooy. Honestly, if you were lucky enough to be a United fan and old enough to remember it at that point, honestly, I still don't think we'll ever get a better striker than Ruvan Nistelrooy. I really, really don't. And we've been spoilt with strikers at Manchester United over the years, but he's number 1 still for me. But yeah, we're going to have to pay more than 45 million that Napoli paid for Lozano, and I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Let's be honest, because I think it's going to be like 60, 70. Mate, Warren. Mate, it's proper Warren G. Where's Nate Dogg up in here? We need someone called Nate. Can somebody change their username to Nate Dogg so we can have Warren G and Nate Dogg? But he's there dropping 20 memberships. Wow. Mate, if that doesn't deserve a like on the video for Warren, I don't know what does. Let me try and read these names out. Joe, Victor, Ryan, Daniel, David, Keith, Pav, Simon Wickham, Frederick, good vibes indeed. Lesu, Duan, Steve, Graza, Mark, The One, Red Devils, Apo. Mate, Warren, you're an absolute don, man. What a don. I have to make sure you need to be joining in for the call-in on the 21st of December. Need to get you on a call. What we're saying down here, mate. Robert, he was just... It was like he was offended by the ball every time he had it in the box and just wanted to boot it as hard as possible into the back of the net. It's just like, I love that dude. I absolutely loved. Ruvan Nistelrooy. Speaking of Dutch strikers, though, look at that for a segue. That was accidental. Van Persie was back at Carrington yesterday. Big smiles there with Pellistri and Garnacho. Eriksen's also back in training after Denmark got eliminated at the group stage. There's Benny McCarthy there on the side as well. It's good to see Van Persie back at Carrington. Let's not get too excited because Van Persie's not going to be joining the coaching staff. It was what he said, though. He goes, thanks for the warm welcome. Great time back at Carrington for a trip down memory lane and to learn the ropes from one of the best coaches in modern football. And Van Persie, let's be honest, man. That season when we lost it on goal difference, that's still the worst season, I think. I remember that moment, that goal there, that Aguero goal. Going from winning the league to losing it in an instant was horrendous. But Van Persie there, he's training. He's not going to become part of the coaching staff. He's just learning his badges. I think that's part of what he's doing there. And Ten Hag said, look, yeah, come down. Learn a bit. He was pictured out in Spinning Fields with, not Spitalfields, that's down in London. He was pictured at Spinning Fields with Ten Hag going out for a little bit of dinner. But man, Van Persie that season, after losing the title on goal difference, to go and sign the best striker in the league. Bring him in. I want to bring him in. You want to talk about an attacking coach? No offense, Benny McCarthy. Sure, you're doing a good job. But Van Persie, different gravy. Different gravy. Love Ruse so much down here. RVN. I'm gonna do this as a little. Let's do a little poll down here. Think about it before. You can only choose one, right? Think about it before you put your answer in, and make sure you read the options. But there's 2 options going in there. If you're choosing one, who are you choosing? Robin Van Persie or Ruvan Nistelrooy? Now, I imagine the answer to that is probably going to be age-related, depending on what you've been able to watch. And geez, though, you're going to have to be older to remember Van Persie as well. It was fucking 10 years ago that happened. Jeez. Joe, you're saying thank you very much to the man that is Warren G. What a ledge. Liam is saying, I'm not answering. It's kind of a fair point. That's the sort of like, it's like choosing your favorite son or daughter. You're not supposed to have favorites. Right, we're at 414 likes now. Let's quickly. There are 1,200 of you watching, so there's over 700 of you right this second that can just go boom. Hit that and then we'll get 500. I'll open the box straight away. So 700 of you, make sure you drop a like on the video. But let's see what we're saying down here. In the early, we've had 140 votes in straight away. 73% of you coming in with Ruud van Nistelrooy. I've got to be honest, man. I'm part of that 73%. It's not that I don't appreciate Van Persie, because I do. But Van Nistelrooy, I think it was 3 seasons he went like 30 plus goals. Van Nistelrooy wiki. Let's have a look. There was 3 seasons. Remember that we signed him a year later as well, because he actually busted his knee with PSV. There you go. Right. My God, he's just stupid. Look at this. Let's bring this up. Look at these numbers. Let's zoom in over there. Look at that. This is Van Nistelrooy at Man United here, right? 49. I'm guessing that's appearances on the left. Apps and goals. 49 appearances, 36 goals. 52 appearances, 44 goals. 44 appearances, 30 goals. And then it started to dip off here, and that's when we got Rooney in, and that's when we had Saha, and that was when it sort of like when we fell out because he didn't play in the final. Was it the League Cup final? And Saha started. 47, mate, just unreal. Unbelievable, Jeff. Both of them, absolutely fantastic strikers. 150 goals in 219 games. Is that right, Ant? That is unbelievable. I've said that quite a few times now, haven't I? I should probably stop repeating myself. 200 votes, and it's 73%. Ruud's running away with it, and I'll be honest, Ruud should run away with it. I don't think he'll ever be beaten as a striker at Manchester United. That's my personal opinion. Account CB, you're going for Kanchelskis, though. You're going right back. Jeez, that was back in Kanchelskis, back in Sharp, back in the early 90s. Yeah, Kanchelskis played for Chelsea as well, didn't he? There's another couple, just a little interesting talking points I want to finish on. Oh, well, one thing first. There's one thing that we've got to speak about after yesterday in that World Cup semi-final, and it's there honestly is only one person I think you can talk about after that. It's outrageous. So how good Lisandro Martinez is, and the fact that he's going to the World Cup final. Yes. Go on, Lisandro. 1 game away from Martinez coming back as a World Cup winner. That's superb. That is superb. And the way that Messi is playing at the moment, hey man, you have to appreciate greatness. You really have to appreciate greatness when you witness it. And that goal, that second goal, to do that against Gvardiol, who I've been raving about, because he's been on a different level as a 20-year-old centre-back. I'm like, how is he that good? And Messi made him look bang average. That was just kind of unfair. But Martinez came off the bench in the 60th minute. They kept a clean sheet. It was easy. I mean, Croatia had no answer, really. Croatia had no answer. And Argentina are into the final. And France against Morocco. Good luck betting against Morocco. That's all I'm going to say. There's no way you're going to bet against Morocco. Not after they've knocked out Spain. They've knocked out Portugal. They're coming up against France. There's a whole load of history there between Morocco there and France. I don't need to get into that with you. But this will not be a game where Morocco just take it lying down. This is not going to be an easy game for France in any way, shape, or form. And yet, you know what? I am. And I tell you what, if Lisandro Martinez wins the World Cup, the video I'm going to do for Jamie Carragher is going to be spectacular. It's going to be a masterpiece. It's going to be like a YouTube version of Mona Lisa. That's what it's going to be. Because I'm going to go there with 2 shotguns, fully loaded, and I'm going to slap up Jamie Carragher. I did it early this season with the video, but if he wins the World Cup as well, my word, I can't wait for that. I almost just want him to win the World Cup just so I can make that video. But look, Martinez, congratulations to you getting to the World Cup final. And Rafael Varane, good luck to you today. He's there playing against Morocco. I don't know who you pick. I mean, France are the favourites in the same way that Portugal were the favourites, in the same way that Spain were the favourites. So Morocco have done pretty well. I think they've got the best. I think it's the second best defensive record ever for a team in the World Cup semi-final. It's unbelievable what they've done as a team. And that's got them to this point. And you would not rule them out doing it again in the second one. Simon saying, thank you very much for my gifted membership. Merry Christmas indeed, man. It's such a community here. It really, really is. We're at 463 likes now. We need less than 40 likes and we'll get that box opened. We'll get the latest giveaway done. And as I said, it's tied into the Jadon Sancho situation. So make sure you drop a like on the video and then I'll get it open any second now. And then I'll tell you how you can win it. But there was a couple more talking points I wanted to run through. This one was a really important one. There was an announcement from Manchester United yesterday that finally, the Jimmy Murphy statue is going to be unveiled outside the Stretford end on the 3rd of May. 65 years to the day since he led the Reds to the FA Cup final at Wembley. And for those who do know the history of Manchester United, for those who don't know the history of Manchester United, Jimmy Murphy was a man who really helped rebuild our club, almost literally. After the Munich Air disaster, when Sir Matt Busby was there in hospital recovering, it was Jimmy Murphy who took that team, the threads of that team, and pieced Manchester United back together. And we got to the FA Cup final that year, which we lost. I think it was to Spurs. Was it to Spurs? I think it was, if I can remember correctly. But this is a statue which is long, long overdue. It really, really is. I don't know how it's taken this long or why it's taken this long, but it has taken this long. And as Daisy says down there, it really is better late than never. And this is fantastic. So awesome to see. And that's happening around about May time. Let's have a look. Get Barry on to slap my people would pay a lot of money for that. I pay a lot of money for that. I wouldn't care how much Barry's appearance fee for that would be. Be good. Be money well spent. I should just get him to go outside Carragher. If he's got an office, Carragher got an office, just go and sing his tunes. People have been sharing your anti-Carragher video on YouTube Shorts. They're sharing top tier content. Then Gamer Beans, they're sharing top tier content. Sam, you slipping up to believe Morocco can beat France? I wouldn't say it's slipping up. It's just the way that Morocco have played. I wouldn't rule France. I wouldn't rule Morocco out for beating France. You really, really wouldn't. And France were gettable. We saw that in the England game. We were the better team. I think so anyway. And it's going to be an interesting final no matter what happens. Now, look, we're just shy of the 500, but sod it. It's Christmassy. I'm going to open it anyway because I've asked too many times. I don't want to beg anymore. Christmas time. I don't like that song. There he is. Every single day looking as cheery and as naked as the last. And yeah, mate, it's good. I've got so many of these to give away and people seem to be loving them. So here's another retro shirt. Here's another retro shirt I'm giving away. And there is a very specific entry mechanic. Let me pull this up. And it's this. I'm going to be doing a video. Look, you might not. Well, you might not like it. It's I'm going to be doing a video. It's going to go out on TikTok in support for Jadon Sancho. Just my message as a fan, and the way to enter for the giveaway for this shirt is simply to go on that TikTok video and send your own message of support for Jadon Sancho. Look, he's not on social media, so he won't be seeing this. He's doing a social media blackout. But I think it's good to spread that message of positivity towards this United player who clearly is struggling on and off the pitch. So the entry mechanic for that shirt there, the video will be going out on TikTok. Maybe it'll go out on YouTube Shorts as well. I don't quite know, but it will definitely be going out on TikTok later this afternoon. So make sure you follow us on TikTok. There's a QR code down there. I'm putting a lot of work and time into that. Not everybody loves TikTok. I understand that. John, I do put some up on YouTube Shorts too, but I might do a full video on Jadon Sancho at lunchtime today. Haven't quite figured out what I'm doing. But if I don't, I'll put it up on YouTube Shorts as well, and you can enter that way. Let's see what you've done. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. I thought it'd be nice. It's a good way to look. We've got a genuine community here. Let's use it in the right way sometimes. All the time. But look, I'll wrap this one up for today. That was really a cracking conversation. Honestly, Warren, Dominic, Gungshi, all of you who have, again, gifted memberships. This community is class, man. Book it in your diaries. 21st, I'm going to do like a community call in. You can jump on screen with me. We can have a conversation. We'll have a few drinks. It's a Christmas drink up. Maybe I'll do a Christmas quiz as well. I don't know how I'd do a Christmas quiz, but that'd be cool, wouldn't it? But look, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for getting involved. As always, I'll do another giveaway tomorrow and another giveaway on Friday. I'm going to announce the 3 winners for the Ronaldo shirts tomorrow. I've announced the winners of 2 giveaways today. I've also announced another giveaway. I basically am Santa. Well, basically, if you order Santa off Wish, you get me. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you on the video at lunchtime, and I'll be here tomorrow as well. Take it easy.